Woo! There is an African proverb that says, "Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of the hunt will always glorify the hunter." Lions, historians, graduates, take your seats. This evening, we are here to celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of our own Lions who will cross the stage in recognition of the pinnacle of academic success. I am Stacia Solomon, Interim Director of the Mary Lou Williams Center for Black Culture. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this evening's ceremony. This event, which was first held in 1993, is in recognition and celebration of 30 years of final honors. Please allow me to introduce your MC for the evening, our very own Grace Williams, who is a rising junior, class of 2025, who will take us through this evening's celebration.
Good afternoon, y'all. It's me, once again. At this point, what haven't I emceed in the Black community? Slowly but surely taking over the Duke MC industry, so watch out. But if you've ever been to an event that's emceed by me, you already know the vibes. We're here to celebrate and to have joy and happiness. So if you're not feeling that right now, go ahead and breathe in, breathe out. Look at your neighbor on your right. Look at your neighbor on your left. Y'all are both black and beautiful. What is there not to love? Y'all give it up for yourselves. Give it up for yourselves. So, with no further ado, I will be introducing the finals honor ceremony tonight. The Final Honors Ceremony has been held annually since 1993 to honor the accomplishments of students of African descent and their allies in the graduating class. The ceremony is designed to commemorate the legacy of the Black experience at Duke University, as well as to affirm each graduate's embodiment of that legacy. This ceremony provides time and space to celebrate the achievements of each graduate individually and to recognize the family, friends, faculty, and staff who played important roles in their undergraduate career. Final Honors is truly the final event where Black graduates and allies are able to gather and reflect on their years at the university as a complete unit. Ultimately, this ceremony is the moment to celebrate the continued legacy of a dream that was not always possible, but through the work of generations that came before, will now and forever be. And that's the speech, y'all. With no further ado, we're going to get into Lift Every Voice and Sing by the wonderful Katrina Kilpatrick, Master of Divinity student, class of 2025. Y'all give it up for Katrina.
You all are welcome to sing along. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far on the way, thou who has by thy might led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the passes, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath thy hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
All right, y'all, that was a beautiful rendition. Y'all give her another round of applause. With no further ado, I will be introducing one of my professors. She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment, and she has a long and extensive bio because she deserves it, and she's done all the things. Dr. Deandra Rose is the Kevin D. Gorder Associate Professor of Public Policy and Associate Professor of Political Science and History at Duke University's Sanford School of Public Policy. She's also the director of Polis Center for Politics and the co-director of the North Carolina Scholars Strategy Network. Her research and teaching interests include higher education policy, American political development, political behavior, identity politics, and inequality. Her book, Citizens by Degree, Higher Education Policy and the Changing Gender Dynamics of American Citizenship, examines the development of landmark U.S. higher education policies like Title IX and federal financial aid programs, and their impact on women's movement toward first-class citizenship. A summa cum laude, Phi Beta Kappa graduate of the University of Georgia, Rose received her MA and PhD from Cornell University with a specialization in American politics and public policy. With no further ado, please welcome to the stage, Dr. Rose.
Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Grace. So Grace did not mention that I'm also the perpetual president of the Grace Williams Fan Club. It's an honor to bring warm greetings and hearty congratulations to you tonight on behalf of Duke University's Black faculty. To our graduates, to our guests, family, and friends, it's a privilege to be with you this evening to celebrate the class of 2023. And it's an especial privilege to have the opportunity to reflect on a truly extraordinary set of achievements that this particular group of scholars has made during their time here at Duke. In my opinion, graduation is without question the most wonderful time of the year. Years of hard work results in degrees, certificates, honors, and even new titles, so shout out to the new doctors in the house. Our classes, lab work, presentations, and exams give way to parties, and if you're lucky, maybe even a little bit of rest and relaxation or some travel around the globe. And if you're really lucky, you might finally get some sleep. I love that, the amen over here, yes. And the stress of final exams, comprehensive exams, dissertation writing, TA grading, internships, late night study sessions, paper writing, and all of the things you had to do to get to this point are finally done. And last but not least, we trade our usual attire for caps and gowns, doctoral hoods, and honor cords, what I like to call academic drip. Thank you. Somebody please tell my 15-year-old nephew that I used the word drip successfully in a sentence. That child roasts me mercilessly. So I have a really special privilege today, and that is to offer congratulations to the class of 2023 on behalf of the Black faculty here at Duke. It gives us great pleasure to formally applaud what you've accomplished during your time here and the impact that you've had on this institution. Now, when I was invited to represent my colleagues this evening, I asked myself, what would my colleagues want me to do tonight? And so I have to tell you the answer was really easy. You know, I knew that they would want me to proctor one final exam for all of you. I love the fact that this center group is not laughing. It's too soon, I know it. And so, no, I'm just kidding. Your days of exams are through, at least for the time being, but permit me to offer something of a closing argument, if I can. And my hope is to underscore the significance of your achievements and the impact that you've had on us. Your impact on Duke University began the very moment you decided to bring your unique experiences, your passions, your questions, your ideas, your talents, and your special gifts to this intellectual community. Upon your arrival, Duke promised to engage your mind, to elevate your spirit, to empower you to be a leader wherever your life takes you. In exchange, you committed substantial resources and made many sacrifices. So when I'm talking about resources, I'm talking time, energy, maybe a little bit of money. When I'm talking about resources and the sacrifices that you made, again, I'm talking about sleep. And from what I hear from at least a couple people, maybe some Beyonce tickets, you had to choose. So as a faculty member, I am in awe of what you've accomplished during your time here at Duke. So from the moment you got here, you pushed us to raise our game. You have distinguished yourself in an array of majors and academic disciplines, making path-breaking discoveries and developing award-winning research. You have elevated our conversations inside and outside of the classroom, raising important questions, offering fresh insights, and pushing our academic community to evaluate and to re-evaluate what we do and what we think we know. At the same time, you've been tested, not only in the academic sense, but also in weathering a formidable array of challenges, and they've all coincided with your time at Duke. For many, you encountered a global pandemic, one that brought devastation, uncertainty, and heartbreak to our communities, and the struggle of navigating courses by Zoom and wearing face masks for many of you. The murder of George Floyd and repeated instances of violence against Black bodies pushed many of you to advocate for the safety of Black people, students, staff, faculty, and others here on campus and beyond. In a political environment that is frequently hostile to Black people and in which our national and global traditions of white supremacy are so often on sharp display, you engaged in extraordinary political and civic activism to make your voices heard and to lift up the voices of others. In other words, you've shown up. You've shown up in spaces that have felt lonely and exhausting. You've shown up in situations where you were frustrated or you were just plain tired. You've shown up, you've shown up, you've shown up. And not only did you show up, but you were excellent when you did it. You lifted others as you've climbed up. You've cared for your friends and your loved ones back at home. You've invested in the Durham community, volunteering your time, not that you have a whole lot of it, in our local schools. You've made numerous contributions to this city that's given us so much. You've invested in communities both near and far, and you've boldly advocated for changes that will make our university, our community, and our world better for those who come behind us. And so as we celebrate these final honors, I hope you know how very proud your faculty are of all that you've accomplished and the people you've become in your time here at Duke. It's been an absolute privilege for us to learn from your brilliance and to watch you shine. And we look forward to cheering you on as you work to make the world a better place for years to come. Congratulations, class of 2023.
Please give another round of applause for Dr. Rose. Gave me a little, hope and motivation that, my final exams, will pay off as a recent victim of final exam season. But with no further ado, on the registration, students were invited to nominate a student from the graduating class to speak during the final honors ceremony. From the nominations, 2 people stood out as frontrunners and will share words next on behalf of the graduate and professional graduates and the undergraduate graduates. Introducing graduate and professional student speaker Antonio Butler, MA in public policy with a concentration in social policy. Y'all give it up for Antonio.
Welcome, graduates. It's an honor to be the student speaker for the night. I know we're ready to get out so we can actually go celebrate after this, so I promise you I will be quick. To jump into the remarks quickly and say that all of us should take a moment to revel in the celebration for everyone making it to this moment in our lives. Individually and collectively, we have overcome so many obstacles. For starters, like Dr. Rose mentioned, all of us in one way or another struggled with COVID. Some of us started our journeys here at Duke amid COVID. All of us had our journeys interrupted, and all of us were impacted by it. Some may feel like they survived, others thrive, and some still waiting to feel whole again because of all the opportunities, people, and life experiences these past few years stole from them without warning. Yet I'm here to say amid these existential and personal crises, we have passed the tests life put before us, tests that may have been meant to break us, bend us, stretch us until we gave up, but we didn't. We have passed and we are graduating. We've been knocked down, yet not out, gotten off the mat when life thought it had us down, and become timeless masterpieces with stories that will inspire generations of humanity beyond us to keep fighting the good fight. Still, through our perseverance to get to this moment, I know many of us may feel tired, weary, and never believe we get to this moment, and those feelings are valid. To all of us, especially ones who feel like going through this Duke experience, wounded parts of your mind, body, soul, or spirit that you didn't even know could be hurt, I hope as we enter this next season of life that we allow ourselves to heal, to breathe, to rest. I hope that we allow ourselves time to enjoy life and remember, we teach ourselves how to dance and bask in the fullness of life that new and beautiful opportunities on the horizon will allow us to participate in. So that in doing so and basking in the journey of life, may that joy overrun to the communities and people we interact with daily. Because joy, hope, fully rested, healing individuals and leaders are needed in the world we enter. We're entering a world that is currently facing challenges on a global, regional, country, state, local, and personal levels, from systemic inequalities to white supremacy, to racism, to sexism, to capitalism, and all the other isms and issues impacting society are still crushing, literally killing our people. To unprecedented levels of people experiencing loneliness, we enter a world that is begging and needing us not to be running on fumes. This world needs us to create space for the voices who need to be heard and listen to and champion those who put us in positions to speak for them. And we must accept that call. It is one we can't run from. It is one that ultimately I believe we will successfully succeed at, so that throughout our lives we will see more than just glimpses of hope in a changed world, but we will see and eat the good fruit our labor produces. So will the communities we serve and represent. They too will benefit and be the main benefactors from our work on a micro and macro level. To create this change, we must be fully rested, full of hope, joy, and belief, because change, a better, more equitable society won't come easy, but it will come. If we aren't rested and filled, we risk becoming the monsters and systems we fight. Because as Nietzsche states, beware that when fighting monsters, you yourself do not become a monster. For when you gaze too long in the abyss stares back at you. So as we rest and then go and change the world, rested and whole and healing, class of 2023, I hope we get everything our ancestors and our past relatives hope we will receive and more. Let me make a stronger statement. I believe that we will be the generation that experiences and lives out those big dreams of equity and prosperity, even if we aren't right now. No longer will we have to ask how long will progress take, because we will experience it and see it in real time. No longer will we dream of making it to the mountaintop, but we shall stand upon it. No longer will we dream of a multicultural rainbow coalition of change, but it shall be our hands clasped together walking towards liberation. No longer will we dream of justice, equity, and liberation of our communities, but we shall taste the ripe and sweet fruit of these principles. We shall experience what it means to be liberated, not just personally, but systemically. We shall be the first to cross into a land of liberation and feel what it's like to no longer walk with the weight of oppression shackled upon us, to no longer work our bodies like machines, to no longer ask questions, what does liberation feel like, but write stories about what the first fruit of liberation and living in liberation felt like. To experience that liberation, class of 2023, we must live and experience the fullness of life. Just because of our existence, we must rest. We must bask in the simplicity of relaxing and knowing that our worth is not defined by our productivity, but by our humanity and care for our communities. Now, this does not mean that there will be no conflict in our communities, but it does mean we shall overcome it collectively and not individually. To the class of 2023, we will not be remembered for our trials, but we will be remembered for our ability to overcome those trials. Yes, we will be recognized for our ability to believe and to see to its reality a more just future, a more just society. So to my colleagues, congratulations. We have stood through many tests, and it's time to celebrate. Yet as we do, may we understand that we are a large part of the key to reshaping and reorienting this world to a culture that serves everyone and not just those in power or with majoritized identities. And in the midst of that, may we never forget to rest our bodies, our minds, our souls, and spirits, and may we never forget to live a life with so much abundance and joy and good fruit that it becomes our obligation to pour into people and communities and the world, so that the people, our people, and the world as a result can bask in a life full of joy, hope, happiness, and peace that creates a world, a culture that becomes embedded in all our being, a culture that loves, supports, and serves every single one of us with dignity, honor, and respect. Thank you all so much, and congratulations to the class of 2023.
Yeah, he ate that. He ate that. One more round of applause for Antonio. Oh, my goodness. I gotta give that a moment to soak in. Like, whew. Oh, my goodness. Y'all speaking to me. I'm not even graduating for real. Well, if y'all thought that was something, we have yet another speaker for you guys tonight. Introducing undergraduate student speaker Sydney Reed with a BA in Programming 2, Fashioning Society, a Reassessment. Y'all give it up for Sydney.
Hi, y'all. Class of 2023, we made it. I couldn't imagine being a part of a community more talented, driven, and boundary-breaking than you all. You inspire me every day. To start, I wanted to talk a little bit about how we as Black people so powerfully and unapologetically take up space. Before we were even allowed to have spaces of our own, we found a way. In the early 1800s, Black people in the North created spaces like the African Grove and the African Theater to come together in a safe place for us, by us. Of course, it did not take long for these establishments to get shut down due to complaints, but this didn't stop us, obviously. We made more and went bigger, creating events like the African American Parade and the African American Ball, both established by newly freed slaves in northern cities. These served as environments for Black people to assert their presence and claim their freedom. I bring this up to show how history repeats itself a little bit. Central Campus was once a core location for Black Duke. A lot of us here never got to experience it, but from what I've heard, it was a unifying place. People had the best of memories there, and while it was unfortunately torn down for safety and regulation issues, it also brought an end to the Black Cultural Living Group and one of Black Duke's main spaces to gather. We then came back in 2019, class of 2023's first year, establishing the Mitchell White House, the home of our Black cultural living and learning community. This is a space that was made with the purpose to learn about the African diaspora and to cultivate community. And now, I'm sure a lot of you can see where I'm going with this, but we're still dealing with the loss of a space to a flood, a space that helped make Duke feel like home for so many of us and the reason we're here today, the Mary Lou Williams Center for Black Culture. While we remain displaced, the Bryant Center has been keeping us relatively comfortable for the time being, but what I've experienced throughout my time here is that it's not the spaces that make Black Duke. It's Black Duke, our resilience and our abundance that makes these spaces and will continue to make them however many times it's necessary. The Duke Africa Galas, United in Praise concerts, BSA Thanksgivings, Soca Socials, the list can go on. All of the events, the spaces we create to gather, and the ways we add color to this campus don't rely on tangible locations, but on the people that make up our community. When we got here as first years, a lot of us jumped into the affinity groups and other clubs to get involved. We probably got a little bit too involved and then overwhelmed. But nonetheless, these groups welcomed us, and upperclassmen were there to show us the ropes as the leaders we would eventually become. All of our interests, extracurriculars, and organizations not only helped us assert our presence here, but gave us the platform to have a vision and execute our ideas of what this campus could be. Through that, we have brought pieces of our backgrounds and culture to enrich Duke and to teach each other what it means to be Black to you. Whether it be food, dances, languages, or fabrics, you have all embraced each other and this campus with your culture. We are so diverse, and it has been such a gift to experience and learn from you all. We go to show that the African diaspora will never be a monolith. Class of 2023, we are so powerful, brilliant, and have some of the most complex minds, but in the best way. We have DJs, filmmakers, engineers, teachers, doctors, and lawyers. The list, again, goes on and can go on forever. But we became leaders here, and we wouldn't have been able to do that without the people we have to lean on. It's the way we support each other by offering our time and talents with the expectation of nothing in return because we just want to see each other succeed. It's the way we have all told someone in this room that it's going to be okay when we so desperately needed to hear it on the days that we have all felt like are just a little bit too hard to get through. It's the kindness, love, and unmatched experiences that we have here that have helped us access the power within ourselves and push beyond the what ifs. We are a community with an impact that spreads so far beyond Duke, and I cannot wait to see where you all will take your impact and how you will share it. I know that we all can achieve our dreams, be the people who were once on our vision boards, and spread the kindness and love that makes this community so unbreakable. Thank you, and congratulations, class of 2023.
Y'all already know what I'm gonna say. Give it up one more time for Sydney. Yes, she skimmed over herself, but she also, orchestrated a whole fashion show on BC Plaza. The senior thesis was thesising. Looking forward to, everything that she accomplished, all the millions that she makes, and inevitably Cash Apps me some. But with no further ado, of course, I will introduce our keynote speaker, Derek Rhodes, professional career has been spent at the intersection of business and community, and his achievements in both are equally significant. As a Black male leader in the corporate world, Derek has an intimate and very much lived understanding of the realities of corporate progression as a person of color, and is passionate about inspiring future Black leaders to achieve their career aspirations. Before founding the Durham Success Summit, a tax-exempt community organization providing practical business exposure and education to Black male youth, Derek acquired invaluable skills and experience in high-level leadership positions at some of the most recognizable companies in the world, including the White House, Google, Microsoft, the Miami Heat, and the Obama Foundation. What haven't you done? Seriously. Derek, a proud Durham native, offers his extensive corporate leadership experience to a number of community organizations and boards, including the Duke University Sanford School of Public Policy Board of Visitors and the City of Durham Racial Equity Commission. After this performance by The Magic of African Rhythms, the next voice you will hear will be alumnus Derek Rhodes. Y'all give it up.
Yo, y'all give it up one more time for that performance right there. I looked over at my little sister. I said, how am I supposed to follow that up right now? But I appreciate that intro. Faculty, staff, administration, it is an honor to be here with you. Thank you for having me. To the staff of the Mary Lou Williams Center, I want to just acknowledge your amazing work over the last year and throughout all of our experiences at Duke, and just recognize how important the center is and the work that you do is to all of us Black alumni, current Black students. So thank you for making this event possible and for being such supporters in all of our lives. To the parents, to the guardians, the mentors, the support folks who are in all of our lives, I want you to give it up for yourselves for this accomplishment of your graduates here today. So make some noise for yourselves. And last but not least, to this beautiful group right here of graduates from Duke University, congratulations on this accomplishment, and thank y'all for being way smarter than I was and making it a little bit harder to get in here and helping the value of our degree go up. I appreciate that. Seriously, I'm so grateful. I'm humbled. I'm honored to be the keynote speaker. It sounds cliche, but this is truly a gift for two reasons. One is that I'm serious. I barely made it out of here, so the fact that I'm on stage today means a lot. Between protesting on campus, trying to outsmart the registrar and my graduation requirements, and downright failing statistics. You know, there was a dark period for Derrick Rhodes that isn't in his bio. So to be standing here means that I did all right. I overcame some challenges, and that I didn't make too many folks at Duke upset. So know that your path is all right. And secondly, I've been in a lot of rooms. I've given a lot of talks, especially over the last couple of years, but no room has been more special to me than the one I'm looking at here, with people who look like me and have a lived experience, and we can be a community today and talk. So this is family. This is the community that raised me. It was the faculty and staff who had an open door policy informally to let me come in and vent and give them a second job that Duke wasn't paying them for, which we'll talk about. It was the workers in Marketplace and now in the Broadhead Center who said, "Go on, baby, don't swipe your card today," so that I could make sure my food points went a little longer. And it was Will, the custodian in Cameron Indoor Stadium, who was one of the only black men I could find on campus who understood the side of town that I was from and could relate to an experience that so many others on campus I felt couldn't understand. So long story short, I'm with my people today, and so I hope that we can have an honest conversation about who we are, who we want to be, and where we're going in the world. I mentioned over the last year it's been busy, and I've been committed to doing less, to doing what Antonio encouraged all of us to do, and that's to rest. I've reduced travel, friendship meetings, so that I can create some clarity that's often hard to find in the day-to-day hustle of trying to attain success or please your boss or meet a deadline. And I never would have imagined the life that I have been blessed to have. You know, as my grandmother would say, though, to whom much is given, much is required. And so it's been important for me to take some time to think about all that has been required of me, both good, both bad, some of the sacrifices. So despite the wonderful bio, the accomplishments, today is about the things that we don't share, the things that you won't hear, the failures, right? The resiliency, the health scares I had that were caused by stress and exhaustion when I was giving to others without pouring into myself first. So when I got this particular invitation a few months ago, despite saying I was going to do less, I knew that after this period of reflection, I would have some insights that I hope would impart some sort of wisdom to you about what the next few years of your life could look like. I think these lessons allow us to spend time wrestling with not just what it means to be a graduate of Duke University, but to delve deeper into what it means to be a black graduate of this university. Let's also talk about what it means to be black people and a human being having to show up and show out every single day. Graduating from a top 10 university like Duke doesn't insulate us from the real world. It doesn't preclude us from having to juggle between life and work, between social unrest and a commitment to our families, between the decision to pursue the private sector or nonprofit or wrestle with our values. In fact, it sometimes makes our journey a little bit more difficult. It's difficult because in addition to all of that, I believe that as graduates of this university in particular, you have a responsibility to blaze a path for others that I'm sure weighs on you, whether you like it or not. Now, if you don't believe that you have that responsibility, then this is going to be a pretty long keynote address for you. I'm not going to spend my time convincing you, but I will, though, use this moment to quote the great Toni Morrison, who said, "When you get these jobs that you have been so brilliantly trained for, just remember that your real job is, if you are free, you are to free somebody else. If you have some power, then your job is to empower someone else. This is not a grab bag candy game." Now, you don't have to go start a nonprofit or found a school and solve education policy in a third world country, but what you do have a responsibility to do is to use this moment to think about how you will move the needle on an issue that is important to you. For me, I was born and raised in Durham. I didn't step foot on this campus until I was an admitted student. My notions of Duke University were ones that my family members had talked about. They called it a plantation. And so when I was that first generation college student thinking about the next steps in my journey, having to go to grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles and say that this university was on my list was not as easy as one might think. After having tough conversations and discussing why I chose Duke over a Morehouse or an HBCU, I made a decision that I would do everything in my power to show my family that I had made the right choice, that there were opportunities on this campus that I had not been exposed to despite living 6 miles down the road. So, what I do, I got here, I worked my butt off. I joined every club, I became an active student leader on campus, I became friends with anyone who needed an ear to listen to. I found internships, I worked with professors, and I thought that as long as I pursued my own trajectory toward success, that I would have a story to share with my family. I was a pre-law student, public policy, and had told everyone that I was going to be the next Barack Obama. I was going to law school, and I was going to be an attorney and move to DC. Well, soon into my senior year, reality snuck in, and I wasn't getting the law school acceptances that I thought I would get by virtue of being a Duke student, by being a Duke graduate who had worked so hard. I wasn't getting the opportunities that I had dreamt of or had heard about from Alumni Network or from others on campus. It was May, and I was sitting in here at Final Honors worried about what my next step would be, not saying that to anyone who had their consulting job locked in October. So at graduation, I found myself right back on the couch, right back at grandma's house, looking at her say, "Look at you. You got that big fancy degree, and you're right back here with us." I found myself back home on the couch with pressure. And I'll say it was the best thing for me because it taught me the importance of failing publicly. That's right, so we're now at that part of the speech where I give you my 5 tips, my keys to life, and that is the first one I want to throw at you. Now, I will say that this is not about to help you figure out what you want to do in life. If you don't know that yet, after a whole lot of tuition and trauma, then I hope someone else can point you in the right direction. But what I will say is that these tips, I hope, will guide you no matter what path you choose from. Consider these a set of recommendations for wherever you go. Number 1, fail publicly. As an entrepreneur, I absolutely hate when I see or hear people talk about stealth mode. That's a cop-out. I don't believe in stealth mode. In front of friends, in front of family, in front of an imaginary community of online supporters, I failed. I didn't end up in law school. I didn't end up on the Hill. I didn't end up with the dream that I had publicly communicated for so long. But this allowed me an avenue to ask people questions, to meet new people who have become some of my most important professional connections to this date. And it gave me a chance to, for once, just be normal. To not be that person who was the first in his family to go to school or to graduate from Duke, as so many of us are the gifted or the first or the special ones whose life is seemingly flawless. What I mean is that it's important to share your goals out loud no matter how realistic or scary they sound. Ask others to hold you accountable to them and show the world what you're working on, even if you're working on yourself. You know, I used to make fun of people who were in the gym posting pictures. Right? We know you're working out. You're good. But what I didn't consider was the accountability that they're asking to be held to publicly. Right? Now, every day at Durham Success Summit, if we don't hit a goal, it is public knowledge. And I think that pressure is good for all of us. Number 2 is to visualize your tough days as much as you visualize your best days. When you walk out of this room, you will be challenged. Your credentials will be challenged. You will be asked to explain yourself a little bit more than others, and whether you know it or not, when you disagree, your voice is going to suddenly raise to this level that's really scary and intimidating for others. Remember, they're intimidated by your extra brilliance, they're intimidated by your extra creativity, and they're intimidated by your extra swag. So don't let them try to reduce you in classrooms, in group projects, in meetings, in public, or in everyday life. They didn't stop you here. Don't let that stop you out there. Remember that you've been in these situations before. So when they show up, keep your calm, keep your composure, walk into every room with your head held high, knowing that you have what it takes because you've already overcome it. Don't strive to make your presence noticed. Just make sure that everyone there knows your absence is felt. Number 3, give things time. When I was working at the Department of Justice, I had a boss named Adora. And at the time, I was an eager early employee, and any crisis was a major one to me. And so I remember on this particular day, we had an internal situation, and I ran to Adora's office. And she noticed that I had been running down the halls, and she said, "I'm not going to meet with you. I don't care what it is." I said, what are you talking about? She said, "Around here we walk, we don't run. Because direction is more important than speed." And so as you enter these spaces, remember to stay focused on where you're headed and not how fast you're getting there. Don't send off panic alarms to yourself or to others that something may be wrong. Give yourself time to let the good sit in, consider a couple of options, and figure out how you're going to solve it, just like you did before. I remember when I was at the White House, I was a 21-year-old black man working for the first black president and the first black male attorney general. It was in this time that Trayvon Martin was murdered. Looking around, I didn't see many interns who looked like me. I didn't see any staff who were working on an issue that I felt was the most important crisis for this administration to deal with at the time. We formed what became my Brother's Keeper Alliance, and months later, Michael Brown was killed, then Ahmaud Arbery, and so many others. At the time we were there, black male unemployment was 57% in the country, and we were telling people to become mentors when people really needed opportunities. So I left and I said, we're a failure. We aren't doing the real work to enact change. A couple of years later, I got a call to try to do this again, and let's go to the Obama Foundation and get outside of red tape and try to make change on improving life outcomes for young men of color. That led us to Oakland, California, where the former president gave his first public appearance, and in the audience were 2,000 young black men who had traveled from all over the country for one day to get better, to meet him, to meet us. Just as I thought that 5 years prior we had failed so many, years later I met young men who said thank you, who told me that we inspired them simply by getting started. So I want to challenge you today to not think that you need the big and flashy, but think about the small step that you can take to inspire the lives of others. I'll say you're already doing it. I was a first-generation college student, as I mentioned, and I graduated from Duke and didn't know that a few years later my mom would be inspired to go to school. I didn't think that my grandmother at 64 years old would say, I'm going to go get my high school diploma now, and then I'm going to enroll myself. Give things time. Number 4, make sure that your dreams scare you. One of my favorite quotes is that you can't leave footprints just tiptoeing in the sand. Think about the mark that you want to leave. Of course, we have imposter syndrome. You haven't done it before. It's all right. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. That's because they should be bigger than you. Every day, think about what wakes you up in the morning. What wakes you up, gets you energized, and also keeps you up at night wondering that if you don't show up for work the next day, will others wonder where you are? Will others depend on you? Will others lean on you, not because you haven't given them other options, but because your presence matters? That can only be possible if you think bigger than this moment and than yourself you're in. And number 5, and I'm going to say this in a different vernacular since I'm with family, but I think it's the most important. Remember that this ain't got nothing to do with you. Remember that you ain't all that, and remember that success is fragile. Don't get so focused on yourself that you forget your families or your communities. Don't get out here and get a big head. You are not the result of yourself, believe it or not. You are the result of a community of mentors, of faculty, of family, of supporters who've been with you long before you stepped foot on this campus. When it's all said and done, do people know that you appreciate them? No matter where you go from here, no matter what titles go after your name or initials, look people in the eyes, check your privilege, and say thank you. I mentioned the challenging few years it's been for me, not just professionally, but personally, and probably why I've decided to do less. This year I learned about grief in ways that were tough and previously unimaginable to me. You've heard me talk a lot about my grandmother. I lost her, and because of my desire to so fervently be successful, I didn't get to have the goodbye with her that she deserved from her favorite grandson. Despite all of the professional accomplishments that you've heard, my biggest regret in life, which I will transparently share with you today, is that I never made the time after leaving here to tell her 2 simple words: thank you. You see, what I left out of the story is that my grandmother was a housekeeper on this campus back in the 60s and 70s. She cleaned the dorms that I then occupied, and she never got the retirement plan that she was promised. So when I talked about Duke University, her experience wasn't rooted in my own ego and self-inflated interest to be successful. It was rooted in an experience much bigger than me that I couldn't understand at the time. It took a gut-wrenching phone call in December to remind me that it wasn't Derek's determination and his own drive that led him to getting off that couch, but it was Grandma's prayers, her years of cleaning up this campus, and in hospitals here that set the foundation for her grandson to attend this university, graduate from here, complain about his stake from the WADUC, and have the privilege of finding work from a network across the country after a merely 3 months of sitting at home reflecting. What privilege I had. I say this not because we should feel down today, but because it's important to realize that although we are celebrating, some of you are sitting here with those feelings. You're thinking about the people who didn't get to see you make it here. Or you're thinking about your future and you're nervous, or you're like me and you don't know what your next steps are. If your family is like mine, you might be wondering how they'll view your little bougie college school and education and how you'll show up for them when you get back. I encourage you not to run from those thoughts, but to spend time this week reflecting on them, but focusing mostly on to whom you owe a simple thank you. Think about who has been in your life long before this university came into it, who helped get you to this day. Think about those who gave their time, who sacrificed in the eyes of racism, in the eyes of unjust, in the eyes of those who didn't view them the same way that they are now viewing us. I want you to spend some time contextualizing your experience in the same way your professors ask you to do. Because if you don't know where you started, how will any of us know where we're going? As I close, I want to remind all of you graduates how immensely proud all of us as Duke Black alumni are of you. I also want to remind you again of the brilliance that you're about to walk out of these doors and bless so many companies, institutions, governments, and communities with. But please don't forget the 5 points that I've laid out for you today. Fail publicly, visualize those tough days, give things time, make sure your dreams scare you, and remember that this ain't got nothing to do with you. If you ever need a listening ear, or you ever feel like you're out there and no one from this university sees you or feels you, please know that I do, and I am right here for you. Congratulations again. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see where the future takes you. Just please continue to make us all proud. Congratulations, graduates.
All right, hey everybody. Thank you so much, Derek. We appreciate you for tonight's remarks, but also for all of the support that you give our students and to the center itself. Much gratitude to you. And now, as Grace would say, with no further ado, we are going to recognize our graduates. All right. And so as you hear your name, if you'll come up to the stage so that you can have your stole donned upon you by our lovely Mary Lou Williams Center staff. All right, and first we're starting with our graduate and professional students with Titilola Afolabi. And y'all feel free to clap, we here to celebrate, all right. Sakura Inu Yoshihara. I'm gonna let y'all catch up to me, and then we're gonna go with these names. Y'all ready? All right, here we go. PJ Austin. Aaliyah Austin. Amaria Ayi. Moses Baguma. Diara Bell, Morgan Bond, Cameron Burns, Antonio Butler. Yes, you better come through with a word today, Antonio. Yes, you look at it, have a collection plate. I would have passed it. Amanda Clark. Emmanuel Davis, Isaac Eves, no, all right. Tylen Glover, Maria Gomez Caballo, yes, come on with the tam. Alyssa Good. Nia Hammett. Sade Harper. Oh, I didn't realize they were behind me as well. Lovely. Haley Harris. Derek Haynes, Maureen Ikeopa, no. Chanley Jackson, Kendra Irigbe, sorry I skipped one, that's on me. Okay, Michael Jones. Hey, cousin Michael. Leandra Katie Yoma. Vanessa Cavarenje. Lakita Knight. Come on, doctor, yes, come on. That's a doctor right there. Y'all clap. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Jessica Lamore. Come on, doc. Yes. Yes. Esquire in the house. Y'all see I'm taking liberties, but I'm enjoying myself. Allison Lattimore. Okay. Timothy Lindsay. Come on, Tim, brother Tim. Yes, we all about it. Yes. Caitlin McClure. Grace McGee. Woo. Hamza Mahamud. Where's Hamza? Okay. Ruth Mungai. I was about to start singing the intermission song. Y'all better be ready.
Now we gonna pray for me while I read these names, okay? Judith Wobia. Pola Najiro. Chiniri Nagi. Chinemirim. No, Wosu. Simon Nayamu. Cameron Oglesby. Denike Olabegi. Chioma Omeogu. Robert Omondi. Amber Rucker. Kentira Rucker. Take a picture. Okay, it's a beautiful photo now. Alexis Sanders. Aaliyah Sanford. Jaquel Sneed Adams. Anna Tobangwe. Toya Wallace. Vivian Wambugu. Now if I can get the undergraduate students to stand. Let's give a big hand for the graduate and professional students, please. Chantel Abdullahi. Joan Akulmore. Khalees Allen. Khalees Allen. Devin Anthony. Allison Ashkin. Gabrielle Battle. Serenity Bennett. Nacia Bernard Lucien. Daniel Baraket. Nadia Bay. Ryan Briggs. Alexia Bryan. Christopher Cameron. Jasmine Kalersaw. Victor Clifton. Victor. Jakari Coles. And Alexis Cook.
Jasmine Daniel. Brian Davis. Camden Early. Joanne Gabriel. Marette Gibrew. Madison Griffin. Sierra Harrison. Jada Hines. Kinsey Huggins. Sydney Hunt. Hamdi Inosa. Irene Jonathan. Jasmine King. Jabari Kwesi. All right, Jabari. Gianni Lacey Howard. Jordan Laster. Kira Lewis. Avery Lithcott Himes. Shernice Martin. Aaliyah McNeil. Lehua Mo Hunter. Lena Muhammad Ali. Mia Murphy. Kyrie Leuna Nemox. Denachi Okonwo. Cody Perry. Rahel Petros. All right, Sora. Sydney Reed. Come through, I am. Morgan Robertson. Cameron Stafford. Cole Walker. Nia Williams. Justin Wilson. Now, I know that there are some graduates in the room that did not register, and we want to recognize those graduates as well. I have a list here that I'm going to call your names, and please come up. If I miss your name or you didn't give me your name, then you can tell us when you come up to the stage so we can recognize you along with your class. Let's see. Ryan Rudolph. Give the people what they want, Ryan. Give them what they want. Kennedy Black. Joseph Laster. Maya Provenco. Alasia Campbell. Michael Bennett. Dwayne Carter. Lillian Thomas. Thank you, Dwayne. Morgan McLeod. I also have Eka Ebony. Are there any other class of 23 graduates in the room? Please come forward. Come on, y'all, get your props. You work too hard not to be recognized. Kosi. Say what now? Kosi, come say your name.
Marcus Nkosi Pierre-Louis.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Congratulations. KB Dennis. Oh, KB, everybody know you. Okay. AJ Smith. Ava Denasia. I say it right? Angel Muchara. Did I say it right? Muchara. Come say it, Angel.
It's Angel Mcharo.
Thank you. All right. Is that everybody? All the graduates? Okay, thank you all so much. Donna Jones.
All right, I'm between y'all and the food and the champagne toast, so I won't be before you long, as they say. But good evening, and again, congratulations, class of 2023. As we close out the night, I want to just reflect on what you've heard and also what I felt for you all. What I know about your class is that, like many of us, you have been underestimated, you have been underrepresented, and then sometimes you've been undermined. And as you go out into the world, I wish I could say that it will be completely different and that it will be all sunshine and rainbows and the like. But what we know is that we are in a fight. We are in a fight for our rights. We are in a fight for humanity to be recognized and to take our place, our rightful place in this world. And so as you go out, I know that many of you are ready to be a part of the fight so that we can make this world a little better than the way we found it. And as you do that, I just want you to caution, as our good brother Antonio told us, to take some rest in between, right? And as Brother Roach shared with us, we can fail publicly, okay? Many of us have been taught that we have to not let them see us sweat, right? And that's true too sometimes. Sometimes we take our moment and we take our licks, and then on the back end we cry or we share what we need to share in close quarters. But what's most important right now is that I thank you. I'm going to thank you in advance for shining your light in a way that helps someone else come out of the darkness, because I know that is what you are capable of, and I know that's what you're going to do for us all. So thank you in advance for shining your light so that someone else can see their way out of the darkness. Because as the great poetess Solange has told us, we have a seat at the table. You all are Duke graduates. If you don't already have a seat at the table, y'all gonna make some tables, right? Because I know that's what you do. But as you do that, I want to make sure you know that the way you shine your light is to leave a seat open so someone can easily slip right on in. That's our job here today. Our job is to be in community in a way that people know, because I am here, you will always be okay. Be that for someone else. That doesn't mean that the person next to you is always going to be your friend. That doesn't mean you have to love up on them and hug up on them every time you see them, but it does mean when you see them, you give them one of these, right? Is that when they see you, they know I have family here. You don't even have to like the person, okay? We all know one person where we like, I want you to succeed, but I want you to get out my face, right? And that's okay. But what it means to be a part of a community like ours is that when we get our seat at the table, the next person is always going to be okay. We fight so the next person doesn't have to tussle. We pave a way so that it's smoother for the next person. And I know there are going to be some tears. There are going to be some hard days. There are some days where your face is beat, and some days it look like you've been beat. And even on that hard day, you are still leaving a seat at the table for somebody else. So thank you in advance for shining your light so that somebody else can see their way out of darkness. Congratulations, class of 2023. I'm so proud of y'all. Well, let's drum on out then. Come on, drummers. Ain't they supposed to be drummers? Come on, brothers. Love. Yes, Because I'll get up on one of them drums if you let me, so y'all better come on. Congratulations, everyone. Graduates, I'll have you to rise. Our able ambassadors are going to lead you out, so they're going to wave their hands in the sky and wave them like, yeah, There you go. Ready? Yeah. And join us for the reception in the Student Wellness Building, room 148, for some food and a champagne toast.